Well, hey guys, welcome to Bowhunting Soul. All right, so it's getting near hunting season. We got about, at the time of this recording, we've got about 5 weeks here in Minnesota. 6 weeks? Yeah, whatever. Not too long. So final fine tunings going on here. Finals, right? I'm sure it's happening all over. Maybe you're going through the same thing. So I just wanted to kind of go through what setup I kind of decided on for hunting season, setups rather, I decided on for hunting season for 2023. So my two primary bows are going to be obviously the St. Patrick Lake Pacific stick, right? ASL 66 inch, and it's 44 pounds at 27 inches, which is what I draw. Also got my Java Man Elkhart. This is a 56 inch bow. Also, I pull about 42, 43 pounds at 27 inches on this one. This bow is actually faster than the ASL. They shoot similar weight arrows, but totally different feel, totally different experience for everything. So this one I actually killed a pig with in Georgia, about 100 pound sow. You can actually watch that. I'm not sure if I'm going to post it on this channel, but you can definitely watch that video on Jim DeSias' channel, Mangroves to Mountains podcast channel, or Outdoors channel rather. The hunt's on there, very cool. And I talk about it on the podcast too, on the Bowhunting Soul podcast. So make sure you check that out. So totally different, right? This is an R&D, right? Reflex, deflex type of bow. The other one's an ASL, American Semi Longbow. What am I going to take and why? Well, I'm going to actually just kind of use these interchangeably, honestly, because I shoot them, I think, equally well. I think I shoot this one just a little bit better, a little more consistently, but honestly, under the 15 yards or so that I'm trying to set up at, 15 and under, it's really not, you know, it's a horse apiece, right? You shoot them a little bit differently, you hold them a little bit differently, but they both require high level of concentration, because if I screw up or short stroke, you know, I don't come to full draw and I don't you know, expand properly, then, you know, shots go wonky, right? I mean, that's what happens with, you know, longbows that don't have, you know, much of a shelf on there, right? You don't have a lot of, you don't have any kind of like anywhere near center shot. So they can be kind of finicky, you know, if you don't do everything right. So as far as arrow setups go, right? Well, first of all, I'm picking off my tab. I'm using an Omnivore's tab here. Omnivore's Homestead and Quivers. Sorry, Mark Harrison. I always forget how to say the website, but great tab. I've got a backup of this one, and I actually have the other tab that I use all the time is this Fred Eichler one. Right, it's a Fred Eichler tab. You notice this one's split. I think I talked about this in a previous video. I don't shoot split finger. I actually have the split in between my middle finger and my ring finger, which makes no sense at all. It just kind of bends a little bit better for me that way. I did that by accident one time, and then I just stuck with it. Now it's kind of my thing for my tabs. I got to have it there, the slit in there mentally, just so everything's the same. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I have it on both of these tabs, right? So technically it's a split tab, but it's an upside down split tab. It makes no sense. Just go with it. Doesn't matter. So anyway, Fred Eichler tab. I have, every time I order something from Three Rivers, I get another one of these. I have a couple of these ones from Omnivores. Like I said, I really like the tab. It's super nice. They're not too. The Fred Eichler one's a little bit thinner, which works fine for the poundage that I'm shooting. The Omnivore one's a little bit thicker, just a little bit, right? It changes the feel a little bit, but you know, nothing drastic. And I think I could be wrong, that Mark also offers like a little bit of a thinner leather for lighter poundage bows. I'm not sure on that, so I'll double check on that. But if you call him up and go to the website, you know, he can give you some answers. Also, so they do like beautiful, like this is just a plain like leather one, but they do like beautiful like alligator skin and gar skin and all kinds of stuff, you know, that they can do on there. Super cool stuff. You know, this tabs, I think these kind of base model ones kind of go for like 30, 35 bucks, something like that. But it's awesome, right? And you're getting it by made by a person that's you know, really hardcore dedicated hunter and outdoorsman. So a traditional bow hunter. So, you know, definitely worth the support, you know. And also, you know, Fred Eichler tab, right? A little bit different design. Obviously it's got a, you know, hole in it there instead of the like the little paracord kind of dealie there to keep it on your finger. So either way, pick a tab, use it. I like the leather ones. I'm a big fan of those. I don't really like the calf hair ones. They wear out and stuff like that. They feel kind of weird, but you know, if you're on a budget, and these are only about 23 bucks, I think. They're under 25, I think, from Three Rivers. But if you're on a budget, you know, even a place like Cabela's and you know, Bass Pro or whatever, who have like practically nil for anything for traditional archery other than a couple Samick stages sitting around, they will have like the calf hair tabs and stuff. So if you know, if that works for you, that works for you. That's fine. If it's gonna get you into the woods and shooting, then by all means do that. So I'm gonna go through arrow setup here for the Elkhart. I'm shooting a, and forgive me on the exact lengths of this. I think this is 29 inch from the back of the point to the knock, right to the groove of the knock. 500 spine, gold tip traditional, using 4-inch parabolic fletching. I've got 100 grain brass and a 250 grain tip, which actually ends up being a 260 grain tip. I'm going to get to the broadhead in a second. The broadhead is actually on the other bow right now. They're going to share the same broadhead. It'll be an Ace standard. I'm going to get to that one, but this weighs in at with the actual broadhead, which is a little bit heavier than this tip right here. It weighs at 633 grains, I believe. That's the exact setup that I shot that hog with. You know, I don't think it was that much of a test of the arrow or the broadhead, honestly. 10-yard shot, quartering away. I mean, it was beautiful. It went in and it lodged in the opposite side shoulder. Done. She was down in 18 yards. But aces are easy to sharpen. They fly well, and it flies beautifully with this. I have no idea what the FOC is. I mean, it can kind of give you an idea here. I know I've measured it before, but I mean, I tinker around so much that, you know, so there you go. You can kind of judge for that. I'd say probably 20, I'm going to say it's like close to 23, 22, 23%, you know, if not, whatever, I don't care. It flies beautiful. You know, I'm more concerned about the overall arrow weight, 633 grains. Yeah, it does the job. So I'm happy with that. So that's going to be that one. Then on my ASL, okay, again, just a little bit higher poundage, but it's actually slower bow, but I mean, it shoots an arrow. This is going to be, here, we'll do it with the broadhead. This is a gold tip traditional 600, and I think they come like 30.5 inches long from the factory, and I cut 3/4 of an inch off of that, so it's going to be like 29 and 3/4, something like that. And again, it also has 100 grain brass and an Ace standard. That one's beat up pretty good. That's my stumping head. I don't really shoot stumps, and I don't have like a judo pointer. I hate judos. So I've actually, you know, when I can, I shoot these. I stump with these. I shoot them into a berm. I shoot them into a rise. I don't actually shoot them at, you know, actual logs and stuff, because half the time, you know, you misjudge how rotten the log is, or how hard the, you know, anything is, and it just blows the nocks out, you know, the backside. Not a fan. But plus you get the sight picture of actually having a broadhead on there. And I use this for my small game. So this also sits on here. I'll use this for small game as well. You know, if any of you guys have ever hunted squirrels, you know how tough squirrels are. Even with a compound, when I used to shoot a compound, I've had you know, those hard rubber or plastic blunts, you know, I've had them bounce off and then have them hit the ground and keep running before. So broadhead it is, especially for squirrels. Rabbits, it's not that big a deal. Rabbits, you look at a rabbit hard enough, they pretty much die and come out of their skin for you and hop in your you know, your game bag. Squirrels, not so much. So that's going to be it. So basically this is an Ace standard. It's 160 grain broadhead, but I've got 100 grain adapter in there. So this ends up being like 260. Well, this one's a little less because I've actually sharpened it a bunch, but brand new, you know, with glue, all that stuff, they probably end up around 260, 265-ish. And again, I've got, I think the total arrow weight on this one is like 500 and I'm going to, God, it's like 560 or 570, something like that. Again, that's kind of where the FOC is. It's probably just a little bit more than the other arrow setup, right? But I mean, flies beautifully. you know, 4-inch parabolics again, nothing fancy. Again, I wasn't chasing FOC necessarily. I don't chase tip weight, but it was just what tuned out with this length of arrow. I'm noticing with the ASL, like the length of arrow really is, depending on, maybe it's just me, maybe it's with my sight picture, but the length of arrow, if I have it too short, for example, I tend to shoot to the left. I don't know whether it's the sight picture. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but I can't really run an arrow any shorter than this. I did have a set of arrows that are full length 500s. They're like 32-inch some long, you know, but then they stick out too far below down here, right? I mean, so this is with a broadhead. This is the broadhead one. So I mean, imagine another like 2.5 inches like down here. You know, you can't set this thing against the tree without all your arrow nocks being packed full of dirt. So I wanted something closer to the 30-inch range. So this is it. This works out really well. So, and that's really it. That's my bow and arrow setup. Honestly, I'm kind of done chasing setups. Now, does that mean I'm going to be done tinkering? Of course not. I like tinkering. I like doing all that stuff, but I'm kind of done chasing setups. I'm kind of done that. I like this actually works. This flies well for me for out of these both bows. Both of these bows have different quirks. For example, like the, you know, anything lighter, right? You might say, well, that's really heavy. 633 grain arrow for a 42-pound or 43-pound bow. Yeah, well, you know, the Elkhart for me flies high. It shoots high for me. Unless I have a very heavy arrow, it actually shoots high, and then I don't like that. I want it to be basically, you know, 20 yards and in, 15 and in, and I don't want much of a shot, you know, past that anyway. I don't really care. So it's a quiet bow. Yes. It's very heavy, but this is actually, it's got a lot of energy. This bow is, you know, I don't want to say it's like a speed demon or anything like that, but it's certainly faster than the ASL, and it shoots that arrow very, very fast, or fast enough anyway, and I have absolutely no problems with it. And it actually brings my gap, whatever gap I'm going to have. I shoot like a subconscious gap, feels good sight picture. It brings it in just the way I want it. I don't have to hold like, you know, 10 inches down or 8 inches down or whatever it is. I can't do that. I do a little bit of a 6 o'clock hold, but I need to see, you know, everything in alignment. If it's too far down, I can't do that. I can't do the, you know, aim below the animal or below the target thing, you know, by, you know, a foot. It doesn't compute in my head. I can't do that. So I do have a couple of these little, I think these are bow jacks, I think, a limb dampeners. This had a bit of a, God, it's almost imperceptible amount of, I don't want to say like vibe, just a little. I mean, just a little bit. And this actually takes care of that. It actually works. They actually work really well. You know, they're usually put on like compounds and stuff, but I just started using these, I don't know, about a month or so ago, and they, you know, they work out fine. So, but again, it's a very quiet bow. It's not a loud bow. Don't misunderstand me thinking that it's loud and twangy or vibey. It's not. It's just a little tiny bit of like residual like buzz at the end that it takes care of with that. So. I'm not sure if I talked about the strings. The strings for all my bows actually, they're Mindy Gibson from St. Lawrence Traditional. She's making those. Beautiful string, using cat whiskers. I got a video, it probably came out already by the time you see this, about the differences between the different types of string silencers, so go watch that out. Maybe I'll link that in here. And that's it. You know, got a little Sure Grip on here. I got Sure Grip on both of them, which is basically like bicycle inner tube, right? It keeps my hand from sliding around. You know, it doesn't necessarily even have to be when it's wet or, you know, your hands are clammy or whatever. They work really, really well. I love it. I love that stuff. So, and of course, Selway quiver, right? Beautiful stuff as always. Love that. So that's my bow setup. That's those are my two bow setups. I do have that Bear Grizzly, my 66 Grizzly. I might go out with that every now and then, but I'm not sure. I kind of want to carry these around this winter, this hunting season. Some of you may say, well, you know, you really ought to stick to one bow. I tried that, but it's so hard. I mean, you got these beautiful custom made bows, right? That I'm very, you know, lucky and fortunate enough to be able to buy and afford and scrounge for, and you know, this just to me, I want to carry these. I want to carry these in the woods, and I want to carry them, you know, kind of alternating one or the other. Is it going to matter if I'm in a tree stand or on the ground? No, it's really not. Actually, I can shoot both of these equally well, either out of a tree stand or on the ground. You know, I used to be the guy that hated anything over like 58-inch bows, right? I mean, again, previous videos, if you guys have suffered with me long enough on this channel, you know that I kind of ranted about those. But now, honestly, this is 66-inch, and there's no problem. I mean, you got to be kind of cognizant of how you're maneuvering. You got to maneuver through the woods a little bit differently, sure. But is it a problem when it's you know, if it's a ground setup or if it's a tree stand setup? No, it's really not. It's you just got to be mindful of where usually that lower limb, you know, is the issue. You just got to be mindful of where it is, and if you have to kind of cant it any you know, differently or whatever to not have like lower limb clearance. So anyway, that's it. I've rambled long enough, guys. Let me know what your setup's going to be. I'd love to hear your comments below. I'd love to see what your or hear about what your setups are. I wish you guys the best of luck this coming season. So yeah, I mean, I started off really good in June here with a hog. Super happy to get that monkey off my back, and you know, we'll see what this season brings. And by the way, don't just because we're hunting deer and stuff, don't set aside small game. It is so much fun. I mean, if you guys know me, like I always say, like any deer hunt immediately turns into a small game hunt as soon as I see a squirrel come by, right? That's just me. A ton of fun. Try spotting and stalking squirrels. Try, you know, it's so much fun. You'll learn so much. You'll learn, you know, you'll learn like sneaking and spotting and stalking skills. And it's you know, it'll get you in the woods more. Plus, you can go out midday. If you can only get out a little bit for you know, midday or something like that, and you're not going to be able to sit there prime time for deer, you know, morning or afternoon, although deer move around all day. But if you're just going to get in a quick hunt, go out and get in a quick hunt, man. I mean, this is what we're here for. It's fun. So all right, so that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and best of luck this season. And most of all, wish me luck too. All right, see ya.